Welcome to News Beacon, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. When you think of international incidents, you probably imagine tense standoffs, high-stakes negotiations, or world leaders locked in heated debates. Maybe you picture diplomats exchanging icy handshakes, or the world holding its breath as rival nations face off across a table. What you probably don't imagine is a superpower blowing up its own supply chain, deliberately destroying the very lifeline of its technological future. Yet, in the year 2025, that's exactly what's happening. China, in a move that has stunned the world, is intercepting and obliterating cargo ships loaded with high-end Nvidia chips, the most sought-after pieces of technology on the planet right now. These aren't just any chips, they're the brains behind everything from artificial intelligence to next-gen gaming. It sounds completely insane, like trying to lose weight by blowing up every bakery in town. But this isn't a metaphor or a wild rumor. It's real, and it's unfolding right now in the turbulent waters of the South China Sea, where smoke and fire mark the site of each destroyed shipment. So, why would China, a nation that's built its future on technological advancement, choose to destroy the very components it desperately needs? Why risk falling behind in the global tech race by smashing its own supply? This isn't just about sinking ships or making headlines. It's a bold, defiant message to the rest of the world. We'd rather have nothing than let you dictate our destiny. It's a statement of independence, even if it comes at a staggering cost. The shockwaves from these actions ripple far beyond the South China Sea. They threaten to disrupt global trade, delay the release of your next gaming console, and even shift the delicate balance of power between nations. The world is watching, and everyone, from tech giants to everyday consumers, will feel the impact. Tonight, we'll break down why these Nvidia chips have become the new oil, fueling economies, powering innovation, and sparking fierce competition between nations. We'll explore how escalating trade wars, political maneuvering, and years of economic tension have led us to this extraordinary moment in history. And we'll explain why China is now enforcing a bizarre, self-imposed blockade, halting its own ships, and in the process, rewriting the rules of global trade. We'll also dive into the aftermath. What happens when billions of dollars in cutting-edge technology are sent to the ocean floor, lost forever beneath the waves? The consequences are staggering, and the world may never be the same. This is the story of technology, rivalry, and a world where the people in charge might just be winging it, making decisions that will shape our future in ways we can barely imagine. Let's talk about Nvidia chips, not the snack, but the graphics processing units or GPUs that power everything from video games to the AI revolution. These tiny pieces of silicon are the unsung heroes behind the screens of our digital lives, quietly working away inside computers, servers, and even supercomputers. Once just for gamers, Nvidia's chips have evolved far beyond their original purpose. Today, they're the backbone of artificial intelligence, scientific research, and even military technology. Whether it's simulating the human brain, predicting the weather, or controlling advanced weaponry, Nvidia GPUs are at the heart of it all. Their secret? Parallel processing. Imagine 1,000 librarians searching for answers at once instead of just one. This ability to handle countless tasks simultaneously makes them perfect for crunching massive amounts of data, which is exactly what modern AI and scientific applications demand. That's why these chips are essential for training AI models, running enormous data centers, and driving innovation in fields like medicine, finance, and autonomous vehicles. They're the engines that make the impossible possible. The most advanced models, like the H100 and X200, are more than just hardware. They're the keys to the future. These chips can process information at mind-boggling speeds, enabling breakthroughs that were science fiction just a decade ago. Whoever controls these chips controls the next wave of technological and military power. It's not just about faster computers. It's about shaping the very direction of society, industry, and global influence. That's why they've become the focus of a global struggle. Countries are racing to secure their own supply, knowing that access to these chips means access to the future. They're not just products anymore, they're strategic assets as vital as oil or aircraft carriers. The world's economies and militaries now depend on them, and that's why nations are willing to go to such absurd lengths to control them. From export bans to secret shipments, the stakes have never been higher. The chip war is about who gets to shape the future, and with Nvidia at the center, the battle is only just beginning. To truly understand the drastic steps China has taken in recent years, we first need to look at the actions of the United States. The roots of this escalating tech conflict run deep, and it all starts with America's growing concerns over China's rapid technological rise. The US launched a sweeping campaign to keep the world's most advanced technology, especially microchips and semiconductors, out of Chinese hands. This wasn't just about business, it was about national security, global influence, and the future balance of power. As China's ambitions in artificial intelligence, supercomputing, and next-generation military tech became clear, the US responded with targeted export bans. Major American companies like Nvidia were suddenly forbidden from selling their most powerful chips to China, cutting off access to the hardware that powers breakthroughs in AI and data processing. The goal was simple, but bold: slow down China's progress in critical fields and maintain America's technological edge for as long as possible. But China didn't just sit back and accept defeat. Instead, they scrambled to secure the chips they desperately needed, fueling a massive and fast-growing black market for high-end semiconductors. Smugglers began routing GPUs and other restricted tech through third countries, using shell companies, fake paperwork, and secret shipping routes to get around the bans. The underground trade became increasingly sophisticated, with entire networks dedicated to moving chips across borders undetected. It quickly turned into a high-stakes cat-and-mouse game. Every time the US tightened restrictions, China's networks found new loopholes, making enforcement a constant challenge. The result? Nvidia chips and other advanced processors became not just valuable commodities, but symbols of both defiance and necessity within China's tech community. Yet this shadowy supply chain left China's entire tech sector vulnerable, dependent on unreliable sources, facing unpredictable shortages, and unable to plan for the future with confidence. For a nation aspiring to global superpower status, building a future on smuggled goods and black market chips was simply unsustainable. In the end, the US tech blockade worked, but not in the way anyone had predicted. It made the chips more valuable, yes, but it also exposed just how dangerously dependent China had become on foreign technology. The crisis forced China to confront its vulnerabilities head-on, and made clear that something had to change, fast. That's when Beijing decided it was time to take radical action, setting the stage for a new chapter in the global tech race. So why destroy the very chips China needs? It's about breaking free from foreign tech dependency, no matter the cost. The black market was a crutch, letting Chinese firms rely on US innovation instead of building their own. By making smuggling catastrophically risky, Beijing is forcing its industry to innovate or fall behind. The ship destruction is a public spectacle, a warning that the era of secret shipments is over. It's also political theater, reinforcing Xi Jinping's push for self-reliance and national pride. Cracking down on smuggling reasserts government control and consolidates power over scarce resources. The message: no more shortcuts, no more workarounds. From now on, only state-prioritized projects get what little foreign tech remains. It's a brutal reset, but one Beijing believes is necessary for true independence. How does China find these chip-smuggling ships in a vast ocean? The answer: a high-tech surveillance web, satellites, drones, radar, and underwater sensors, tracking every vessel in real time. Intelligence agencies monitor communications, financial transactions, and shipping patterns, building profiles of suspicious ships. Once a target is flagged, the China Coast Guard, armed and ready, moves in fast. Crews are removed, and the ship is scuttled, often on camera for maximum deterrent effect. The footage is broadcast as a warning: smuggling chips is now a financial and legal death sentence. The goal is to make the risk so high that no insurer or smuggler will touch the trade. It's a ruthless but effective way to choke off the black market. When a ship full of Nvidia chips sinks, the tech is destroyed. Salt water and pressure ruin the delicate electronics instantly. This isn't just about loss, it's about making sure no one, not even corrupt officials, can profit from seized chips. If China just confiscated them, it would invite corruption and global outrage. Destroying the cargo closes those doors. But the environmental cost is huge. Ships leak oil and toxic metals, poisoning marine life and the food chain. Each lost shipment is worth tens or hundreds of millions, a staggering act of economic self-harm. Yet, for China's leaders, it's a price worth paying to break dependency and force domestic innovation. The chips become toxic relics on the ocean floor, a symbol of the high stakes in the tech war. It's a bonfire of vanities with GPUs instead of gold. Sinking chip shipments doesn't just make headlines, it sends shockwaves through the global economy. In China, GPU prices skyrocket, starving private tech firms of the tools they need to innovate. Only state-backed giants can afford the few chips that slip through, stifling the once vibrant startup scene. Globally, insurers hike rates, supply chains are disrupted, and companies scramble to de-risk by moving operations elsewhere. The policy meant to foster independence risks isolating China's tech sector and slowing its progress. Meanwhile, the world faces higher prices and more uncertainty. The gamble, will this pain lead to self-reliance or just deeper isolation? The answer could reshape the global tech landscape. China's scorched earth policy is only half the story. The other half is a massive push to build a homegrown chip industry. The goal: create Chinese tech giants that can rival Nvidia, AMD, and Intel. The government is pouring billions into research, talent, and manufacturing, mobilizing the entire nation. But making world-class chips isn't just about design. It requires advanced manufacturing tools like EUV lithography machines, which China can't buy due to export bans. This bottleneck is the biggest hurdle. China's race is now against time. Can it innovate past these barriers before its tech sector grinds to a halt? The destruction of smuggling ships is the starting gun for this race. The outcome will define China's place in the world for decades. It's a gamble for technological supremacy. So here we are, a world power sinking ships to keep itself from foreign tech. It's not madness, it's a calculated, if brutal, strategy to force innovation and break dependency. By killing the black market, Beijing hopes to shock its industry into self-reliance and consolidate control. But this new frontline in the chip war brings volatility, higher prices, and global uncertainty. For China's tech sector, it's an existential crisis, a forced march toward innovation or obsolescence. The great chip smashing of 2025 shows that computer chips are now weapons in a global power struggle. Whether this gamble creates a silicon dragon or a self-inflicted wound remains to be seen. One thing's certain, the world just got more complicated, and a lot more expensive, and maybe just a little more insane.